G'day, Lewis here from AusPac Solar. We're standing outside the Vanuatu Police Academy in sunny Port Vila. Of recent, there's been some significant upgrades occur at the Police Academy, and as part of that, AusPac Solar was contracted to install a semi-off-grid solar system that's capable to run off-grid as well, with a solar battery and generator. So as part of this video, we're going to give you a tour of the system that's been installed and explain some of the features as well. So come on, let's go have a look. Okay, so as you can see behind us, we've got the majority of our solar equipment. We've got our inverters, batteries, and we've got our generator for backup power. One of the focuses that the client had for the upgrades at the police facility was sustainability, and that certainly lines up with renewable energy that solar and batteries work in. The other focus was resilience and energy independence. This is very important in Vanuatu due to the number of natural disasters that Vanuatu faces. In particular, of recent, the earthquake that occurred last year. The facility did lose power for a short period of time. And so it's really important that by using this latest state-of-the-art equipment, we're able to keep power on in these times of crisis, especially for our essential services like the police, so that they can effectively do their work when it's required the most. Okay, so let's head in and we'll have a look at this equipment. I'll give you an explanation of it all. So 104 panels are feeding electricity down into our system that we've got under here. We've got 2 inverters mounted on the wall. So over here we have what we call now the master inverter. So when the 2 inverters work together, one becomes the master and one becomes the slave. By working together, we're able to double the output of the inverter capacity, and in particular on its backup side. This is important because at the main gate, the UNELCO feed-in is a 30 amp breaker, and this combined system has a 42 amp output, which ensures that if the main feed was to cut in a time of natural disaster, the system would be able to continually to operate and run the loads of the site. Into each inverter, we now have our batteries. Now, in our setup here, we have 2 battery stacks per inverter. That's giving us a total of 192 kilowatt hours. Now, initial analysis of the site showed that on average it's using around 6 to 8 kilowatt hours per hour, which is essentially ensuring that we're getting close to 1 day's autonomy just running on battery power, which is fantastic for times of natural disaster. So when designing and installing semi-off-grid and off-grid solar systems, we definitely need multiple sources of power to ensure that we have backups to our backups. So in this case, if we do lose power from UNELCO and we do lose power from our solar and battery system, we do have another source of power, which we have over here, our 45 kVA generator. Now, this is an independent unit, but how it's been installed has been installed to essentially work with our solar and battery system. So let me just explain that briefly. So at the moment, with our generator here, it sits in rest mode, and it's in auto mode as well, but it's not running at the moment. We have our cable feed coming out along the ground and coming up to what we call an automatic transfer switch, or ATS box. Now, this ATS box has been wired into, over here, our switchboard. And it's programmed to essentially read if we lose power from UNELCO and we lose power from our solar and battery system. So, if we lose power from UNELCO, our solar and battery system will continue to run everything. But if in a natural disaster and things are very unknown in those times, we then lose power to our solar and battery system, we can utilise our generator to power the site. So that's really important when designing off-grid systems. If you don't have a secondary means of power and you don't set it up where you have access to that power, you're going to come into some problems. So a lot of thought in the design process, there's a lot of thought that's gone into the design process to essentially ensure that we've been able to utilise all sources of power that are coming into this site, in particular the generator, UNELCO, and our solar and battery system. So all of these power sources, the inverter, the generator, the batteries, the solar, and also our main supply, is all coming into our switchboard. And so we have to be very particular with how we do the wiring in here to ensure that we're able to utilise. So if you have a look in the switchboard, it really sits on our manual transfer switch that we have here. So in the up position, we're able to utilise the solar and battery as the primary source of power, with the grid assisting as required. However, if by chance our technicians need to come and do any maintenance on this system and we need to turn off the solar and the battery or the generator, we're essentially able to use this switch to isolate these forms so we can work on them safely while still maintaining power to the site. That's really critical, because if we have to come and do servicing or for example in a natural disaster we lose panels or our inverter stops working but UNELCO continues to work, we're able to continue to provide power here, so it's not an inconvenience. They're not losing power. They're not having a source of power that they can't get access to, because it's really essential that they have these critical services. So that's how we wire it. It's on a manual transfer switch as the central control, and that allows us to switch between different forms of power that ensure that there's continuity of electricity to the site. A couple of other key benefits to point out with our system. One of them is installing Wi-Fi nearby allows us to connect our inverters online, and we're able to monitor them remotely. We're able to do software upgrades, firmware upgrades as required, which is important for the health of the system. If any faults get triggered as well, we're able to see that in real-time data. And on top of that, the customer will receive an app, so the key people here at the police facility will be able to see how much load they're pulling, what is the life left on the battery, or how much percentage is left on the battery storage, how much is the solar producing, and they get an overall graph of all of this. So this is really critical and crucial for, especially in off-grid scenarios, they're able to maintain their data. They essentially become their own power provider with this equipment, so that gives them that ability. The other thing with this equipment, and it's definitely come about in the last few years, the industry has come a long way. These inverters have the ability to expand. There's really good expandability. We can actually add another 7 inverters onto this system. So what that means is that as the police facility grows, perhaps more equipment gets brought in, more specialised equipment that requires more electricity, we're able to add more inverters, and by doing that, we increase our output because they all work together. We can then add more batteries, and we can also add more solar into those inverters. So it really ensures that as the facility grows, the electricity production equipment, the solar and battery, is able to grow with it. So a customer's not having to essentially restart every time the facility grows. So that's a really, really key bit of information to keep in mind, especially because if you were to apply it, say, even to outer island food processing, the ability to expand as production increases, this equipment gives you that option. So those little features are important to note, and we no doubt know that this will be of benefit to the police facility as it continues to grow and serve the needs of the Port Vila community and Vanuatu in the future. Well, there you go, guys. Thanks for joining us on the tour of the new solar battery and generator setup at the Vanuatu Police Academy. It's been really enjoyable to work on this project, and we know that by providing this service, it allows the Vanuatu Police Force to continue to operate even in times of natural disaster, which is really critical, that they have the tools and the means to continue to do that. If you do have any further questions, or perhaps you're looking for a system of similar size to power things like outer island processing for coconut oil or copra, or any other things that you're looking to process in the outer islands, feel free to reach out to AusPac Solar, and we'd be more than happy to discuss your energy needs. Thanks, guys.